suppose George is the only one who can help us. Is he badly damaged?
Yes, it's George. This is part 2 of my motorhome simple upgrades. Well, it's to do with tips and hints and tips and things like that. And I'm just going to go over some very basic ones for you. And this is what we've discovered in our motorhome. Now then, you know, if you're like us and you've got a small motorhome and you do a lot of walking, you're going to have walking boots, which have long laces. You know, there could be any sorts of walking boots. These are mine. I've had these for years and I actually love these, more like army boots. And one of the issues you get is they're not easy to put on, and you struggle to put them on your motorhome. You go to lock your van, go off your walk, and then you suddenly realise you've left your keys in the van and your boots are muddy. So how are you going to get back in your van without taking your boots off or making a mess in your van? Well, one thing we've both discovered, Jane and myself, is buy yourself some cheap shower caps. But obviously the more expensive shower caps you get, the longer they will last. So you imagine you've got your boots on, you've got to go back in your van, and they are absolutely plastered in mud like these. Well, these got mud, but it's dry. And you don't want to walk it right the way through your van. So very simply, if you've got some shower caps, you can slip them on over your boots. Okay, so you need 2 shower caps, and if you're wearing your boots, you can slip them over like that. You can then walk up and down your van without the risk of getting muddy in your carpets, on the seats or anything like that. I've lost a lot of footage regarding motorhome upgrades, and I'm now back home, and most of the upgrades I've done, in addition to the ones I've shown you, have been specific to my van, so they're probably not a lot of use or interest to other people. So I thought what I'd do, I'll just cover off just silly things to do with owning a small motorhome. Now then, if you've got a small motorhome, space is an absolute critical factor, and weight. And when you start adding up things in your food cupboards, you soon realise you haven't got enough room for real food. And this is my sort of solution to getting over it. We're keen campers as well, and we have done for many years, so we're quite used to carrying small quantities of things around with us. And I'm just going to go over what you can do, and let's start with something basic. Let's start with, you like tomato sauce and you like brown sauce, and you may like mustard. So you've got a bottle like this and a bottle like that and another one for mustard. Well, quite cheaply you can buy little collapsible bottles like that, and then you can get one for your mustard, you can get one for your brown sauce. You can get loads of them, and they're very, very low cost. They're not very good quality, but instantly you can see how much space you can save by topping these up in your van rather than carrying these big bottles. And we've found that that amount of sauce, for the amount of sauce we use, will probably last 2 weeks. You know, so why are we carrying this and this and then the mustard and then something else? So that's a tip for me. Use refillable containers and keep your big ones at home, unless you're a full-time van lifer. Well, then that's a bit different, but then you've generally got a big van. You don't drive around in little small vans. So that, you can imagine, that's a big space saving and weight saving. This is 650 grams, and that is 500 grams. So that's over a kilogram in weight, plus the mustard, when you think about it. So that's like a space saving tip, is to use these. And the same thing can go for cooking oil or any other liquids. But if you don't want them in squidgy bottles, then you can get this sort of bottle, and then you can use these. You can use these for putting milk in. If you're only out for a day, like we do, and go to Rutland Water, you can put your milk in one of those, and that's enough for about 4 coffees. You know, so you know these are all cheap containers you can get. There's another one the same, another one the same, and then you can get ones like this, and then you can get some pump action ones as well. And this applies to your hair shampoo and your shower gel or whatever you use in your shower. You don't have to take great big bottles with you. Going back to the sauce, you could actually use these sachets that you can get from McDonald's and places like that. You can actually buy them, and so that's one way of doing things. Okay, let's just talk about salt and pepper. Right, similar. That's a pepper pot we use, mainly camping, and that's salt. Write on them with a pen. All this stuff is peanuts to buy. And now then, let's talk about medication. The most we've been away in our motorhome is 8, 9, maybe 10 weeks. So I need like 2 months medication. That's not quite 2 months medication. And you've got all these boxes, and then they're in metal foil and all the rest of it. Well, what I do, if away for a long period of time, I put them in the pots like this. And the most important one I take is the red one. So I know that by looking at it, and those 2 I take in the morning, that's the one I take at night. So again, you can see the space saving. If I'm going for a shorter period of time, like less than just a couple of days, I may put them into something like that. But they need to be airtight. You don't want your tablets to get damp. And the other thing you can do, once you miniaturise your tablets, they will fit in your wash bag. You know, if you've got a wash bag and you've got a flannel, toothbrush, things like that, it'll all go in. You can imagine how much space they take up. And in fact, if I'm going for a couple of days, I can get all the tablets into one of these. These are aluminium, sealed, and they're watertight as well. Containers to put whatever you want in. You can actually fold up £20 notes and things and put them in these, and if you're canoeing, you know you've got some money with you, and there's no risk of, you know, it getting wet. And I'll just open one of these up so you know what they're like inside. Now you can see inside there's quite a lot of space. They're threaded. They've got a rubber O-ring seal on, and you can put a £20 note in one of those, and then you can keep it on your key rings when you're canoeing or attached to your life jacket or whatever. I've used these in the past to put water purification tablets in. If you're into bushcraft, you know, you can get quite a lot of water purification tablets in here. One tablet does about 1 litre, so they're very handy. I'll just show you something else which might be useful. Now this one, you notice it, it's a slightly smaller but longer shape, and it's called a peanut, and I'll open it up and show you what you can do with it. Now I don't know if you can see what it is. It's a small lighter. That way I can do it single-handed. There you go. It's a lighter. It's got lighter fluid in it. I'll do it again if I can do it. And again, it's got a rubber seal around it, one to stop the liquid from coming out and two to stop water getting in. And it's a useful thing if you're into camping or bushcraft more than anything, but I just thought I'd like to show you it because it's in a similar series of these. They're very inexpensive and it's like a backup if you wanted for your caravan for lighting your gas. You could use the spark on it. Okay, so let's go through a few containers and one thing or another. I'll show you another gadget I have as we talk about lighting fires. This keyring thing. Do you know what it is? Take the cap off. And this is what it looks like. Just going to put the light down and I'll show you in operation. Okay, I don't know if you can see that in this light. It's a blow lamp. There we go. So if you're doing any heat shrink sleeving or want to do a bit of soldering or you just want to light a fire, absolute ideal bit of kit. And that's how big it is. And that's the safety cap. You can turn up the flame or turn it down, and this cap just slots on the end. Just pushes on. Like that. That's how big it is. So that just gives you a few tips to do with motorhoming. There's other small tips I can talk about. Is clothes. If you fold your clothes up and you've got shorter space, you can always put them inside your pillow and then you can use them for sleeping on. So it acts as a pillow. What else is there I can talk about? Yeah, just general storage containers. You know, you can get ones like this with a rubber seal on the top. You can put liquids in. When you go to your supermarket to do your shopping, before you move out the car park, try and get rid of as much packaging material as possible. If you're just going out for a few days, you could prepare your salad, boil your potatoes, cut your meat, get rid of the packaging before you go out, so when you get out in your motorhome you're not worrying about slicing potatoes and things like that. Just common sense really. But I hope this gives you a few ideas, rather than carry all these big containers and stuff. It's ridiculous really. You don't need to do it. Do you need to carry 2 litres of milk? You know, for example, although it's quite difficult to buy milk in small quantities. The last couple of items I'm going to talk about is these things. I don't know if you can see what they are. They're little torches, and what they're intended for is to put round the straps on your rucksack. The straps open up like that and they clip back on themselves, you know, around this edge here. And they're available in packs of 2. We've got 4. What these are useful for is emergencies mainly. You know, you can have one of these on your rucksack and they give you a very bright light. But these are really, really handy. If you can imagine you're broken down on a country lane. Sorry, I had a little interruption there, so I had to leave what I'm doing. Yeah, if you break down on a country lane, for example, and you're stuck on the road or down the side of the road, at night especially, what you can do is you can find in the hedge some branches or twigs, stick them in the ground or the verge behind your van, and then switch them on. So you can have a continuous red light, or you can have a flashing one. So you can imagine you can space these down, and obviously you probably use 2 red ones. I'll put a white one on as well. You could have one at the front. And you can imagine what they're like. And they've got batteries in, they'll last quite a long time, but they don't take up any space, you know. And we sometimes have these with our rucksacks if we're out at night. And if you get stuck for a small torch to put in the engine compartment when you're looking at trying to fix something, these are ideal. And they take these big like watch batteries and things like that, the big round car remote control batteries. And these are very low cost. I can't remember where I got them from. And they're rubber. I think they're brilliant. Put them on your bike if you've got a problem, put them on the back of your van. It says 4 there, I can put them in my hand, and they weigh hardly anything. So that's it for this video. So it's a bit of a mismatch of ideas, but thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like.